Okay, hi everybody. I'm just going to do a short video about what we're going to be doing next week, which is all based on string painting. It's an artist we're going to look at called Greer Pester. And she's actually one of my friends, and she uses this in all sorts of workshops. I'll show you some of her, I'll send some of her pictures as well in the email. Right, so what you'll need is an A4 piece of paper from your sketchbook, just because we're going to work outside of the sketchbook because it's slightly 3D. And then if you've got any coloured paper left over, I've just cut two smaller rectangles, and then if you don't have any coloured paper, you could use some collage, or you can just use the white paper, it's fine. You will need your Pritt stick, a pencil. We're going to use our Posca pens, so if you've got your Posca pen. And then we're also going to use, excitingly, our piece of our gold leaf. And we'll be creating a sort of collage using these materials. And finally, last but not least, we'll be using some of the yarn that I sent you, some wool. You can just cut, if you, actually we'll need some scissors too, but if you just have, you don't have to unroll the whole thing. You can just cut maybe like an A4 size length of the colours that you want to use. I'm going to probably use a little bit more yellow than purple, and then a length of blue as well. And it depends on how you arrange it. But I will show you this in the video. So just cut a few lengths of the colours that you like. Not too long. Okay. Right. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to stick down my coloured sheets. So I've got my work surface, that's going to be sort of my frame that I'm working in. I'm working quite small so that it can be quite quick for the video, but in the session we can work a little bit bigger because we'll have a bit more time. So I'm gluing just two colours, but you could glue 3 or 4, and then I'm going to use my pencil. Now, in Greer's work, she's been using quite a lot of body parts and also fruit bowls. So I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to have a hand, and just kind of cartoon-like. And then what shall we have? What's yellow? Yes, I know. And a bunch of bananas. So I'm just drawing in a couple of bananas and maybe a few little grapes here. And I quite like the idea of some of them maybe coming off. There's maybe going to be a grape off, slightly off the picture. Okay, so then I'm going to use my gold Posca pen to go over these lines. Everything in Greer's work is very bold and confident. And as you can see, it's not realistic. So I don't want you to, we're kind of almost more cartoon-like in this approach today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one banana in the yellow made in yellow yarn, and one is going to be with the gold leaf. And then we're going to, and I'm going to colour these in so you can see them, and if there's any of the yarn underneath. It will shine gold from underneath any of the gaps, if that makes sense. Well, you'll find out as we go along. Okay. Lovely. Oh, these pens are so nice to use. Okay. So, I'm going to start with my gold leaf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Pritt stick the banana where I want my gold leaf. Okay, so covering it with that Pritt stick, and then I've got a whole big square here. So what I will do is I will very, very carefully, because it's so delicate, cut it, or you can tear it. It's going to probably tear into quite a few pieces anyway. And I'm going to lay it across my banana, and with my finger, or if you have a dry paintbrush, then that would also be good. So I'll put that on the list of things to have ready. And you're just smoothing it down. Can you see how where the glue is? It's catching it. And you're just going to wait for a while until that glue's dry. So in fact, we'll leave that bit. There might be a little bit more on here. We'll leave that all to dry before we start flicking it off. And we will start with our hand. So again, I'm going to use the pink. We're going to cover the hand with the glue, the Pritt stick. If you've got, this won't have been in your pack, but if you have some double-sided tape, then that also works really, really well. Or if you have just some PVA glue, that's also, it's just a little bit stronger. But the Pritt stick does work. You just have to hold it down a little bit. At the end, we'll leave it, we'll squash them in underneath a book or something, and that should let them stick. Okay, so I'm just following the hand round, as you can see, and then I'm going to carry on with my pink and do another layer inside. So it's like I want the whole hand to be pink. And you can add more glue as and when you need it. This one's. So what I would say is try not to make anything, you know how my hand's like nice and fat. Try not to make any really complicated shapes, because you're going to have to fit it with the yarn. And actually, where's that? That's going up there. And some bits will stick a little bit more than others. I'm gonna add some more glue. Yeah, really don't be afraid to pop that Pritt stick down. And again, you don't have to Can you see how mine's following some lines but not others? I'm going to get another string of yarn, and this is when you can start to fill in the gaps and then cut if you want to. Cut it and stroke it in. Here I'm going to swirl that round so I'm not overlapping. Can you see that? I'm just going to cut that bit off. I'm not overlapping, and actually I'll try and do that with the fingers themselves. This one needs a little bit more glue. And if the glue runs over the shape, then that also doesn't matter because it's going to dry clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on cutting pieces, almost like, you know, do you remember doing those spaghetti or pasta pictures? Okay, and I really like it when the yarn kind of goes off the frame. So now I'm going to do some, these are going to be my grapes. So I'm going to do the same thing. And I want to do a little curve right in there. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that, but my neighbours started mowing their lawn very loudly. Okay. Yeah, so these might be a little bit small, so I'm making them a little bit bigger. And I'm just pressing down as I'm going round. Making that spiral go in like this. And then I'm going to cut the end off. And I might need a little bit more glue. So yeah, just really put lots of glue on. And I think now this, is it dry? I'm going to just really gently with my paintbrush ease off where the other banana is so I can carry on. I'm not going to take off all the gold leaf yet. Gold leaf is pretty tricky to work with, so if you haven't used it before, then don't worry. This is all a learning curve and you're going to get very, very sticky gold fingers. So I'm putting the more glue on my next banana for my string. And for this one, what I'd like to do is have the string curve round and then I'm going to cut it. So again, I'm not curving like curling in a ball, I'm just cutting my string to fit the exact length and having them layer up next to me. And it's just a completely different thing from what we've done before and a completely different kind of style. So I don't want you to get fret up with making sure it looks exactly like it is, because that's not the point of this. The point is sort of exploring different materials and textures, and actually these lines are starting to come into place for me, and I feel like it is looking a bit like a banana. And if you didn't, yeah, you can use string as well in this way. You do not have to use this colours that I got you. You could even use embroidery thread or ribbon. Okay, there's my banana. Pleased with that. And I'm just going to now brush away the gold leaf. We will take longer to let it dry, so we'll do it right at the end, the gold leaf bit, because it does, as you can see, sticks to stuff. And I'm not going to finish my purple berries because you don't need to watch me do that, but oh yes, you can see it's all starting to take shape. And what you might want to do is, if you get any gaps with your Posca pen, even if it's the silver one or the white one, you could fill in some bits. I'm going to do some lines, get that banana, and then I might even put some gold around the other banana too. And there we have it, our fun banana string painting. So yeah, look forward to seeing everyone's on Wednesday. Thanks so much. Bye.